Should there be more nuclear power in Maine's energy future? That's a question now being asked in Augusta. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Hill. Brian Yacono's off tonight. For as long as she has been governor, Janet Mills has pushed hard for cleaner energy sources like wind and solar to get Mainers away from fossil fuels. But President Donald Trump has indicated he wants to gut federal support for those industries and bring oil back. On top of that, he says so-called modular nuclear reactors are also a viable option. Maine is no stranger to nuclear power. The Maine Yankee nuclear power plant in Wiscasset operated for more than 2 decades until it was decommissioned in 1997, then torn down. However, nuclear waste and other radioactive materials are still on site, stored in cement casks. Then there's the Seabrook nuclear plant in New Hampshire. Now in its 35th year of operation, its license doesn't expire for another 25 years. Seabrook, along with a plant in Connecticut, furnish power to the New England grid. So is there a nuclear option when it comes to generating power here in Maine? Here's News Center Maine's Donovan Lynch.
Hope for a future of nuclear power in Maine is riding on new technology.
So we can take up a very small place to distribute a large amount of electricity.
Decades after the Maine Yankee nuclear power plant closed in Wiscasset, there are rumblings of interest in bringing something different online.
There's a lot of excitement around small modular reactors.
SMRs, or small modular reactors, are a fraction of the size of the traditional nuclear power plant. While they can only power around 150,000 homes compared to around 500,000 from the conventional plants, they take up less space. Right now, there are only 2 of these small reactors in operation worldwide, one in Russia and the other in China. Mark Nickel with the Nuclear Energy Institute says that's changing.
We're close behind. The United States has over 30 designs that are being developed.
And now a new bill by Republican State Representative Reagan Paul would direct Maine's Public Utilities Commission to request informational bids to establish these mini reactors in our state, something in line with an executive order signed by President Trump earlier this month. In a statement, Paul says small modular reactors could provide a steady carbon-free power source with a very small land footprint and a scalable nature that make them well-suited for Maine's energy needs. Reception has been mixed. Paul's Democratic colleague, State Representative Sophie Warren, sees the merits of CO2-free nuclear power in battling climate change.
Greenhouse gases are the crisis of our time, and we've got to stay laser focused on that consideration here.
But Warren is doubtful reactors in Maine would be practical, especially as state law requires a voter referendum before bringing nuclear power back to the state.
I have no present interest to bring a small nuclear reactor to the state of Maine. It doesn't make sense.
And in a region that saw mass protests over the construction of a large nuclear power plant in New Hampshire in the 1970s, the same activists from that fight, among them Kathy Wolf, are now wary of a new attempt at a power source that leaves behind radioactive waste.
We haven't resolved any of the issues that go along with producing electricity through nuclear power. There's no permanent disposal.
For now, nuclear in Maine remains a thought on paper. Donovan Lynch, News Center, Maine.